faith, firearms, and freedom. This is Armed Lutheran Radio.
Well, hey, folks. Welcome one and all to another episode of Armed Lutheran Radio, the show about guns, hunting, competitive shooting, the natural right of self-defense, and what God's Word says about the issues surrounding gun rights and gun ownership. I am your host, Lloyd Bailey, the Armed Lutheran. This is episode number 394. Thank you all so much for making Armed Lutheran Radio a part of your week again this week. Welcome to those of you who are new. Glad to have you with us. This is our first online hangout of 2024. For those of you who are new, what that means is once a month we get together with the supporters of the show, the people who make this show possible. They are the members of what we call the Reformation Gun Club. Armed Lutheran Radio is listener funded. We don't have any sponsors. We don't have any advertising. We rely on the generosity of our members, people like the folks you are going to be meeting in today's show. And if you would like to join them, if you would like to support the show, if you would like to get access to the hundreds of hours of exclusive content that we have available on our website, get some cool Armed Lutheran swag and invitations to come hang out with some cool people every month, visit Yeah, that's easy enough for me to say. Visit reformationgunclub.com and find out more. You can look for a link in the show notes for this or any of our previous episodes. Membership is just $36 a year, and we would love to have you join us and come visit with us for next month's online hangout. All right, well, let's get this show on the road and get everyone in here. Let's see. We have Stuart is joining us from Florida. Dan from Washington State. David, I think this is going to be David from Kennesaw, Georgia. A good friend, Donny Ross, will also be joining us. Stephen Clifford from Virginia. And Pastor G. There we go. Dan has the coolest hangout spot. All the best stuff. Easily at hand. Just turn around and grab
everything you could want.
How is everybody tonight?
Doing awesome.
Good. Fantastic.
Excellent.
There you go.
Oh my goodness.
That keeps going off.
I don't recognize Pastor G. He's grown the beard out.
Yeah, till Easter.
He does it every Lent, and then it looks weird when he shaves it.
Okay. So we're used to the post-Easter look.
I don't know why my video keeps stopping.
It looks like it's done now.
Remember to move this.
Probably it.
That's it. There we go.
That's better. How is everyone? It's been a while since we've been together.
Yeah.
Much
Well,
fun. Oh, Curtis is here.
I got a new puppy.
Oh my goodness.
He hardly looks like a
Come here, Scout.
Scout. Come here.
Come here, Scout.
120-pound English
Holy-
Mastiff.
Grief.
He's only a year and a half old. He's just a puppy.
He's going to eat you out of house and home.
Something like that.
Curtis is with us from, well, he's from Kansas, but who knows where he is tonight. On the road somewhere. So we'll go around the room, get started to see how get caught up with everybody since last we were together, which was December, I guess. Stuart, we'll start with you. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you, Lloyd. And things are going well. Just got back from church, just got the computer turned on.
Glad you made it. I didn't think
Thank-
about this being the first Wednesday of Lent. I was like, oh, good grief, why did I do that? But I made it hard for the pastors out there and everybody actually on the call, I think. So I appreciate you hurrying home and joining us. What's new in down in the free state of Florida?
Not much. I don't follow the news, no matter where it is. So, except I
Happier and
guess,
healthier that way.
yeah. I need my orange juice tonight.
What's
I
in the
forgot to take it
orange-
this morning.
What's in the orange juice?
Ice cubes,
Oh, okay.
vodka.
Vodka. All right. I started to do that, but in honor of our good friend Steve, I managed to wrangle yes,
Good stuff.
it is good stuff. Thank you for that recommendation. So how was New Year's and all that stuff down in Pensacola? I saw you were at you've been checking out the local hockey games and
Yeah, they haven't been doing so hot lately, but that's okay. It was still fun.
it's always
Doing
fun.
better than the Caps.
I don't know. Yeah,
Well,
it's
this was a birthday gift from the rally house where they do the all the Stars and Rangers and Cowboys stuff. So been a little up and down. I understand your concern, Steve. Although we're still sitting in first place. So Dan has not well, let's see, you were with us in December at the December hangout. What have you been up to?
Well, getting into the new year, going to work. I got my annual performance review last week, and my boss has decided she's going to let me keep coming back. So that's a good
Very
thing.
good. That's probably a good idea on her part. How's the weather and what has anybody managed to do any? I forgot to ask Stuart if you had been out to the range or done any shooting.
no, it's too cold for here.
Too cold for
For here, I've turned in. I had to turn in my Wyoming card. Can't do that anymore.
become a Florida curmudgeon.
Yeah, curmudgeon definitely.
How about you, Dan? What's weather been like? Has it been amenable to range trips or any of that sort of thing?
You don't really get a choice what kind of weather you have in a gunfight. So even though it's raining here in Washington all the time in the winter, we still go to the range regularly.
Yeah, you go to the indoor range.
I hate indoor ranges.
I do too, but I've got to do something. I saw my son sent me pictures from last weekend where he'd been out of the range. I'm like, you've been to the range more than I have. Good grief. Got to do something about this. David, how are you, sir? Good to
Doing
see
very
you.
well indeed.
How
So,
was your
Dan-
Christmas and your New Year's?
Well, full of music, of course.
Of course.
And getting ready for some more of that this coming June. Taking a concert tour to Italy,
Ooh,
taking 50 people to go sing in Italy. So
nice.
that ought to be fun. And
Nice.
little bit. Dan, I've had my last performance review.
So it must not have gone well.
I hope this wasn't my last.
Wait a minute.
No, I retired the end of March.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
Very good.
So, and a little shooting. We went down to Florida, Stuart, to shoot a Glock match. It was raining. We decided we'd go shopping instead.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
There's another one coming up in a couple of weeks up here in north of Atlanta, actually close to home. So we'll go work that one. We'll volunteer for that one.
It's one thing if like Dan was saying, you go out and you're doing it of your own volition, and you can spend the whole time shooting out at the range. It's worth enduring all of the weather. If you have to stand around and watch other people shoot, you just, you're waiting for your turn. It's hardly worth it.
Well, we've done it. I mean, we've shot in snow and freezing, just to prove we could do it. We've shot 95 by 95. That's Atlantan for 95 degrees and 95% humidity.
Sticky.
So we've done 95 by 95. We've done all of those. We've shot in the rain plenty of times, but it's just like we were just down to Florida to go have a good time, and it's like standing around in the rain doesn't sound like as much fun as shopping. So
yeah,
we went. So yeah, but we're doing good. New firearm under the tree,
Ooh.
Christmas. That was fun.
Do tell.
Daughter gifted me a Glock cert, so I had my choice.
Very nice.
Ooh, nice.
And have you made that choice?
Yeah, I think it'll be a 21 in 45 ACP.
Very good.
Solid.
What's the long slide 45? Is that the 40?
That's a 41. Okay. Yeah. The problem is you can't shoot the 41 in the amateur civilian division that I normally like to shoot. You have to shoot it in unlimited class. So that's the only division you can put that one in. Although I could do it. I have another unlimited gun though that I shoot. So
I have forgotten how the divisions work in GSSF.
It's
been a while since
it's a well, like any of the other divisional rules, it's very ticky and very particular, and certain things will push you into one division or another. My Model 34 that I shoot in unlimited, I have to shoot in unlimited because I have a aftermarket guide rod in it, and that's the only stock. Everything else is basically stock.
Yeah.
And so it's like, but that's okay. It's a Gen 4, and at that time, so I've got a Burris fast fire on the top of it.
Ooh, okay.
And for some reason the slide was a little bit slow, and so as the casing ejects, it smacks the red dot, and so the red dot is all beat to pieces. It still works great, but it's just beat to pieces. And so playing with the geometry and timing a little bit, got the magic combination for that particular gun worked out.
Spring weight,
huh?
Spring weight factor into that some.
Yeah, I got a 13-pound spring instead of a 15. And it just changed things just enough for it to work. So
unlimited, are you allowed pretty much I guess you're allowed pretty much anything in unlimited, right?
As long as you have a stock frame and you can do whatever you want.
Okay.
Pretty much. The barrel doesn't have to be stock. The slide, I think maybe the slide still has to be stock, but it can be modified to all pieces.
As long as it started out as a Glock, it's okay.
That's it. It started, so no poly 80s apply, no PSA daggers, no, nothing like that. But pretty much after that, anything goes. Comps, lights, whatever you want to put on it.
Chainsaws.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds cool. I'm not really competitive. It's just more for my own amusement and to try and develop a few skills. So
yeah. And mostly when I went, I was just comparing my scores to what did I do last time? Like, did I get any better, or do I still suck? And
yeah, that's me. I mean, I'm bad enough that my my target score that I'm happy with is a 100. You know,
Right.
I have plenty of friends that shoot in the 60s and 70s. But it's like, yeah, I can't do that.
And the scoring in GSSF is
It is time plus
time plus.
points of added seconds for a lack of accuracy.
Okay, so they add seconds.
Yeah. So if you shoot, let's say you shoot an 8-second run and it's all A hits, then you get the A. You know, if it's in the C zone or whatever they call it, that next zone out, then it's a 1 second for every shot out there.
Right.
And then a D is 3 seconds, so the remainder of the target is 3 second, you know, for every one of those. And if you mic, it's a 10-second penalty.
Yeah, they really get you for the mics.
Or as one of my friends said, you cannot miss fast enough to win.
No, definitely not.
Yeah,
that is for sure.
Yeah.
And
So there's one stage.
tried.
One stage that's all paper. One stage that's all steel plates, and then one hybrid stage.
Okay. Back when I was doing it, it was all paper.
Well, there are all paper variants that you can shoot if your club doesn't have steel.
Oh, okay, so it depends on the club. Okay.
Yeah. And if you're shooting an indoor, that's all paper.
Yeah. I would imagine. I've never
Yeah.
tried an indoor match.
Yeah. So the daughter's good enough that she's hit the 500 club a couple of times, and so they're by the cert.
Very good.
Yeah, she'll make master class this year.
Sweet. My cert was just pure luck of the draw. They had a drawing at the end of the match, and I got a 34 out of it. So
Yeah,
I knew I wasn't going to win one.
We've been to enough matches that there have been 4 certs won that way. But
Cool.
that was mostly in the early years when there were less people and
Right.
better odds.
Competition wasn't so stiff.
Yeah, it was fun though. I mean, it's great. So there's some fun things.
Very cool.
But it's cool.
All right, Pastor G, we'll move on to you. What have you been up to since last we were together? I think you were at the December hangout. So how was your new year? And
New Year's went pretty good. I guess this last month I've got my level 1 in man combatives 52 blocks. It's all that's unarmed type of thing. And then this month my instructor in that we're moving on to using a karambit. And I think eventually we'll get to doing some gun stuff because I know he's a member of the USCAA, whatever that concealed weapon group is.
USCCA, United States Concealed Carry Association.
Yeah, he's like, I guess, licensed by them or whatever. So
right,
that's when we get to the gun part. But right now we did non-weapon. Now we're into the knife, and then eventually we'll get around to doing gun stuff. So it's been fun with that,
Nice. Very cool.
Because we didn't have any problem with getting here tonight for the time because my congregation is mostly elderly. They decided they wanted to have a 3:00 service.
Let's get this out of the way because we got an early bedtime.
That's right, and they don't like driving at night. So
I like your shirt.
Thank you. This is my son's last boat that he was on. He's on a Pasadena now, but this was he was a part of the building of the USS Montana sub and in Norfolk, and so he got me this shirt here. And
That's my home state.
Good. So your son is a submariner?
Yep. He just became a chief petty officer this fall.
Awesome.
And he's 7, and pretty proud of him.
Very good.
So,
well,
they had too many chief petty officers on his boat, so they got assigned to another boat. So, but he does fast attacks so that's good.
Good deal. Well, thank him for his service for us.
I will do that.
We all appreciate it.
What's his rating?
He's an ETR.
What's his rate? Okay.
He's in that little part that comes up out of the sub, he tells me he gets everybody's emails and sends everybody emails out, and that's about all he can tell me that he does.
The rest is very top secret.
But I've been aboard the boat though. We all last time I went to visit them, we were allowed to go. We had to leave all our cameras and everything, in the cars, but we got to go through the boat after they cleaned all the top secret stuff off, and and we just went through the quasi top secret stuff. Like I wouldn't know what I was looking at anyway.
Right.
Nice thing about subs though is that my family kind of belongs on subs because we're all short. Nobody has to duck or anything. We're just moving around the boat like it's nothing.
So he was a perfect fit, no pun intended.
Yes.
It seems to me that would take a special kind of temperament to be able to be a submariner. I'm incredibly claustrophobic. I have no idea how.
Well, your
son handle it.
Even if sailors that are on like the boats, unless you're doing something on deck, you're below deck, and there's no windows.
Right.
Which is why Great Lakes, everybody trains in a building that's like 4 stories tall that has no windows for 8 weeks. Because that's unless you're on deck, which is very few people,
right?
Maybe on an aircraft carrier, unless you're guiding the boat on top that has the window there, you're under.
Right.
Is he a very private person?
Yeah, he's a little bit. What is it called? Introverted.
So
I think you would have to be of that. Of that mindset, because I can't imagine if you're a really extroverted person, you like getting out and doing stuff and being in the boat for what's a typical tour on
fast attacks are 3 to 6 months. We're at a boomers are 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
So I always tease him though, because I always tell him he's aboard the USS Tiger. From Petticoat, Operation Petticoat.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Because his first boat was the Los Angeles, and it seemed that boat was always coming back in to get repaired for something.
Oh,
of course, his last boat's the Montana, which is a brand new boat, and even though the Navy it got signed over to the Navy, they're like still fixing stuff on it. So I always just kind of tease him, that he's on a USS Tiger, and I need to go out there for the witch doctor stuff, and his boat. But now he's on a new boat, so I don't know. I don't think he's gone out on a new boat yet, but it's coming up, I think. So,
gotcha. Very cool. Steve, how are you, sir? How have you been?
Doing well, thank you. Thank you for the package of stickers that I won. That was pretty cool.
Oh,
thank you. But I've been doing a lot of shooting, and I did a fair amount of hunting, but only ended up with 1 deer this year. But I've been working out with that Sig Cross rifle and really, really enjoying that. I've got one of the coolest gun trade stories if you want that one.
Heck yeah.
So
let's all live vicariously.
This is an epic one. This is one for the record books. Best trade I've ever been on the right end of. I've been on the losing end of some really stupid ones too, so this one makes up for it. So it starts though, years ago, I had a family friend who a woman passed away, and her son called me up and said, "Hey, Steve, you like guns, right?" I'm like, well, yeah. He says, well, listen, my mom's husband, who had passed away 2 years earlier, he had a gun that I really want out of the house. Could you come over and take it away? I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, I can't afford it. Oh, no. I just come take it. I don't want it. I want it out of the house. Like, okay, well, what is it? He says, it's a Vietnam sniper rifle. Like, what the heck is a Vietnam sniper? Yeah, I'll be right over. So I go over to this house, and he points in the corner. He won't touch the thing. I go over, and it is the worst, nastiest, rusted out looking Mosin Nagant you've ever seen in your life.
The moist man.
And I'm like, oh, thanks. You want me to like clean this up, and maybe several years from now your son could get it? You go, oh, no, we don't want guns. And here's the paperwork for it. And he hands me this envelope, and the envelope is filled with typewriter on really thin paper, all of the capture documents of this thing coming back from Vietnam. Oh, wow. And there's a bunch of Vietnamese currency. And so I'm like, oh, well, okay. So I stuck the thing in my basement, and I left it there for years. Well, this past summer, I decided, you know what? I should at least see what this thing is. Maybe I can clean it up. Maybe, with the value of Nagants now, maybe it'll be worth something. I was figuring it was like a $40 gun at the time. So I started to do a little looking to make sure that I didn't destroy anything while taking it apart. And the first thing that I realized is this is not a normal Mosin Nagant. The barrel bands on it were completely wrong. There were no sling attachments at all, and there was no bayonet lug. So I'm like, well, I don't want to destroy this thing by pulling the barrel bands and the handguard off of it. So I took a bunch of pictures and I posted it to a Mosin Nagant website and said, what the heck am I looking at here? And I got an immediate reaction with people going, oh, wow, do you realize what you have there? Like,
clearly not.
No, I don't. Oh, and I posted pictures of the capture documents. They went absolutely ballistic. They said, okay, that stock is not the original stock. That is what's called a jungle stock. That was literally carved in the jungles of Vietnam. That's a period correct stock. That thing has the patina of war, and it is worth some serious money.
Don't try to clean it up.
Okay, so what are we talking about here? So one guy sends me a private message. He says, listen, I'm not a buyer on this thing, but if someone offers you over $1,000, that's a good deal for you. It's a good deal for them, and that'll avoid a real bidding war. Like $1,000 for a rusted out Mosin Nagant? Okay, that's cool. I get another message from a guy who said, hey, you need to send an email to this one guy. He's putting together a museum of bring back weapons. And this particular individual is the owner of a very, very well-known firearms manufacturer and retail distributor.
Okay.
So I sent the guy an email with pictures and links, and the guy immediately sent back, says, yeah, I'm interested. So, oh, I almost forgot. Meanwhile, I did a little research on the guy whose name was on the paperwork, and it turns out he's a Bronze Star recipient and a member of, and on the capture documents, it had his unit information. He was MacSog something or other, but Unit 15. And so, whoa. Yeah. So the story gets a little better. And the guy was buried at the church that I used to go to. So I went and I took a picture of his gravesite, which on his gravesite, it says Bronze Star with oak leaf cluster, which means he's got it twice. So I sent all this to this guy, and he says, yeah, I'm interested. And so we went back and forth a little bit, and he said, well, what do you want for it? I said, you know what? I don't know. I'm looking to save up some money. If you're interested in some sort of trade, the things that I'm kind of in the market for right now, I'm looking for, a Sig Cross in 6.5. I'm looking for, a Vortex Strike Eagle in 3 to 18. I'm looking for a couple of these things, but I'm sure we can work something out. The next email he sends me, he includes one of his managers in it, says, please make this trade. I'm like, what do you mean, make the trade? He said, yeah. And so the guy emails me, he says, okay, so I've got the rifle in stock. I'm going to need a couple of days to get the scope. You need a mount for that too, don't you? I'm like, yes, I do. Yes, I do, as a matter of fact. So couple of days later, I drive down to South Carolina. I hand over a rusted out Mosin Nagant and an envelope full of paperwork, and I came back with a brand new Sig Cross, the scope and the mount, and I took it to a shooting match the next day. It was absolutely the coolest thing I've ever been a part of. It's got all the value to him. It's got all the provenance. It's valuable to the right person in the right situation. But yeah, that's my greatest gun trade ever in history. So yeah, there you go.
What would that have set you back if you had paid for the Sig Cross and the scope and the mount out of pocket?
About $2,800. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
For a Mosin Nagant that was given to me by a guy that didn't want a gun in his house.
Wow.
I did. So yeah.
That's
rather be lucky than good, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know how you top that. That's pretty amazing.
It pays to be the gun guy.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness. I was very respectful of him, and I'm glad that this guy's stepfather is being memorialized properly. I think that's really important because the stepson wanted nothing to do with this, was uninterested in his stepfather's service, and his stepfather apparently was quite a dude and retired as a master sergeant in the Army in 1997. So he served a long time, and I'm in awe of his service, and I'm just glad that gets to be memorialized now too. So good all around.
Absolutely. Very cool.
So yeah, top that one, guys. No.
I don't think we have anything to top that. Even
Maybe you
close.
should ask for 2 rifles.
I put a suppressor on it by selling 2 other guns, but yeah, that gun, by the way, is amazing. I am having so much fun with that. It's accurate, but it's still lightweight enough that it's handy. I can hunt with it. I can hike with it. Snapshots. And I've taken 1 class with it so far, and I'm planning on another class in April, and really trying to stretch the legs on this thing. So I'm getting into this whole long range shooting thing, which I've never done. I've always been a scout rifle guy, and now being able to stretch out to these longer ranges, it's intoxicating. It's so much fun to be able to hit targets at 1,000, 1,200 yards and actually see the impacts at those ranges. It's fun.
Yeah, it's a whole different world when you have a bullet that's going 70 foot up before it comes back down on your target.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, and you can see the bullets fly too. Yeah. With the right atmospheric conditions. If you're spotting for your buddy, you can actually see that thing arc all the way right down into the target. It's cool.
Well, you can follow it all the way down until it hits about 50 feet to the right and in front of your target.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Donnie, you have waited long enough. How are you? How have you been? What's happening?
Well, on the positive side, I'm Employee of the Month at work, and I went to Lenten services at 11 o'clock today, and then we have a lunch over, and then they have another one tonight. So then I went to work. So I got off 15 minutes early. We close at 8. So I got off a little early. I said, I really need to go to the Zoom meeting. On the other side of things, lost my mom on the 30th of January. She was 92 years old. It was a little harder than I thought it would be, but she's with the Lord now, and she lived a nice long life. Also, you probably can't see it on here, but I've been putting chemo cream on my lip, and it got so bad I haven't put any on in a week and a half now, and I should do a little mutt, but I woke up on Sunday morning and I looked like I was a vampire from the blood running down my face.
Ooh.
And on Saturday, we're going to see my nephew, his son took a pair of mule deer antlers I had, and he made a skull for it with a 3D printer, and it's pretty cool looking. So that's down in Iowa. So it's about a 7-hour round trip, but hey, it's nice to see them. And on the gun side, my wife's boss is letting us store our boat in a building, in a garage, but he brought me a Remington Model 8 over to clean up for him. I do some of the cleaning on them, and I did, and it's the most complicated gun I'd ever taken apart and put back together. The interesting thing is that if you don't know about the Model 8, maybe you know about it's a John Moses Browning design that has a spring inside an outer barrel and the inner barrel's in there. And that inner barrel is really, it's got this spring in there, and it takes a special tool, which I couldn't find, and I couldn't find one of the alternates they suggested for it. So I made one myself to get the nut off the barrel. And then it consisted of a little block of wood with a hole drilled through it and a sheetrock screw to go in there and touch it. And it worked super good. But I had about, not counting when it was in the cleaning solution, I had about 20 hours of doing it, because putting that spring under tension on there and getting everything to line up was not the easiest thing I'd have ever done. But then we came and he picked it up, and we went out. I said, let me take you to my gun range. We went out there and we shot it, because when I got it, the action wouldn't even function on it. And it runs beautifully now. And he hit a bullseye with it. It was, the caliber was 35 Remington. So, that's kind of, yep, right there. It was Al Capone's gun. It was also the FBI used them for a little while.
Frank Hamer, I thought I recognized the model. Frank Hamer used it in 35 Remington.
Yeah.
And he used it to kill Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, there's so many little pins and springs inside that action, but the way it worked when it was all done, I kind of felt proud of myself, and thank God for YouTube.
Yeah, I imagine so. Good Lord.
Yeah, you can see all those little parts in the action.
All the little parts and pins and
yeah,
buffer springs, and oh my gosh. Is it
you can learn anything on YouTube?
Yeah.
What?
Is it magazine fed, or is it?
Yeah, it's a fixed magazine. It's a fixed magazine. Okay. So you actually, to get the barrel off of the thing, you have to take the forearm off, and then there's a little thing you spin that is a thing that connects the barrel to the receiver on it.
Wow.
So it was fulfilling after I do it, especially after I got to shoot it, because I hadn't shot a 35 Remington, and it did amazingly good. He was really happy with it.
Tell him it broke, and
yeah,
had to throw it away.
Had to throw it away, as
Yeah,
the law requires that you dispose of it. All right, going in reverse order then, Donnie, what are you drinking tonight? What's on
this
tap?
Is North Fork Rye from the Montana Glacier Distillery in Coram, Montana.
North Fork Rye. Heading to my list. Very good. Steve, what you got? Steve is frozen. Uh-oh. All right. So we'll move on real quick to Pastor G. Has he got anything interesting? Are we drinking boba tea or something again? He's engaged in important conversation. Okay. So we'll move on to David. David, what do you got tonight? Dr. Pepper. Diet Dr. Pepper at that. Very disappointed.
Hey,
nothing wrong with that.
I actually like the taste of it, so
can't go wrong with Dr. Pepper. Dan, how about you? You have a vast selection behind you. What have you
Well,
chosen?
tonight I am drinking some of the flagship single malt whiskey from Westland Distillery here in South Seattle in Washington. They make really good hooch. And I'm drinking it in my glass I got for Christmas with the little bullet in it.
Very nice. What was the name of it again?
Westland.
Westland. That's the name of the distillery.
Come to Seattle. We can go take a tour. They let you taste everything.
Be sure, as long as you're driving.
Oh, that's what Uber's for.
Exactly. Stuart, so you're having, is it a screwdriver?
I'm empty. Screwdriver. Empty. Kirkland vodka. Yeah, just a
Kirkland vodka.
It's got some from Costco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, nothing fancy. Fresh squeezed orange juice from Sam's.
It works.
Yeah.
Curtis is with us. He's just listening tonight. He has said he's south of Louisville. Delivered some milling equipment today to a new distillery in Bardstown, Kentucky called Heaven Hill Springs Distillery. I have to look that place up.
Originally from Kentucky.
Very good. Heaven Hill Springs. Give them a look. And Steve, I think, is back with us after freezing on us. There he is. There he's back.
He's back.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had a little Starlink glitch there. That's unusual.
No worries. We'll complain to Elon. Are you out in the sticks where you have to have Starlink, or is it just more convenient?
No, there is not a cable to my house. There's no way to get any line into this house without hundreds of thousands of dollars. So yeah, I'm in the sticks.
Yeah. It's not a bad thing. I miss the sticks, actually.
Yeah, very, very blessed to live in them.
Yeah. I love our neighborhood, but except when you try to go sit outside and enjoy a nice evening and the 9 dogs in the houses around me decide that they all want to kill each other at the same time.
Yeah, my nearest neighbor is 150 yards through the woods.
Rub it in, why don't you? We didn't find out from Pastor G what you guys are sipping on there. It's in mason jars from the looks of it, or mayonnaise jars from the looks of it.
We're having our Ozark Bobo tea.
Okay, I knew it.
Yeah, we like to have our boba tea, but I like having a large glass, and the largest glasses that I had that were clean were mason jars. So
that works.
Go.
What is bobo tea?
Well, as you can see, there's little tapioca balls that you boil. And there at the bottom, they're kind of chewy. You see me chewing over here. It's one of those Asian Japanese things. And so you got that, and I guess there's usually some kind of like a real sweet, like either simple sugar or molasses. Then you got black tea. Then you got some kind of milk or vaporized.
Oh,
milk.
bubble tea.
Yeah,
some people call it bubble tea.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, bubble tea. I don't know.
So where are you located at?
Beautiful Lake of the Ozarks.
Oh yeah, your daughter knows my son, I think, possibly.
Oh,
yep.
Who's that?
Peter Ross.
Yeah.
She
Oh,
knows
yes,
him as
yes.
Red Tap.
Yeah.
Yep, he was the chaplain at Heights Point this summer. He had a summer vicarage.
Right. I remember him.
Now he's in April 23rd. We'll find out where he's going on his year-long vicarage.
Ah, nice.
Good.
Yeah.
There was a fun game we played there where only the junior counselors really could do it. It was called Stump the Seminarian.
Yeah.
People would ask him questions where we would see if we could stump him. Pretty much only the junior counselors could actually stump him, or on occasion other counselors. The campers tried, though.
He's a very serious student.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, we got about 14 minutes left. What's I want to get all of your thoughts. You heard me rant about the Super Bowl ad. The he gets us stuff from the Super Bowl.
I already don't like them, but then this one was much more iffy. This one seemed like the main point was to just wash feet half of the time. It gave no explanation to people who don't understand the reference.
Yes, exactly right.
The funnier thing is because all my liberal friends were upset about spending all that money on that ad instead of giving it to the poor and helping people.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, well, that probably is a valid argument considering how poor the ad was. If it was a decent argument, if it was a decent ad that actually proclaimed the gospel to some extent, that maybe someone could be saved through. Maybe not, but this. Just,
I don't know. I had seen it, and I hadn't had a chance to talk to anyone about it. Work isn't a great place to discuss things like that unless you're asked about it. Right. And then Lloyd, I heard your episode on it, and I was like, "Yep, that's exactly what I thought."
Okay, I wasn't the only one who got that reaction.
No,
it was stupid.
It really was.
Well, it's insidious. I mean, it really is insidious because, people like us that see it, our immediate first reaction was, well, okay, Jesus did talk about serving, and we should be servants, and we should love our neighbor, but that doesn't mean the same thing as that ad means. That's
not what the ad was saying.
The ad had so much more that kind of piggybacked on top of that went so far beyond what the message of Jesus washing the feet really meant. And that's what I hated about it, is that just the insidiousness of it.
Well, when you water down and modernize the gospel, then people will do that with the idea that we're just bringing more people to Christ. And they forget the fact that it's not our job to bring anyone to Christ. That's the Holy Spirit's job. Our job is to show up and display Christ to people. And they forget that because they want to do these things or show these things that make them seem like they are mod and hip to the modern culture. And they're blending in when all they're doing is watering down the gospel.
Lloyd, I think you said it tremendously well in the Facebook post that you said, where you said, because opposing sin is hate. That is one of the most succinct understandings of the perversion, the twisting, that humanistic liberal twisting of that concept. The opposition of sin is hate. That's really brilliant. I thought that was very brilliant.
Thank you. I was hoping I wasn't completely off base and that I wasn't reading into it more than was actually there. It just, the more I watched it, the more I felt like this isn't really a message for non-Christians.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
This is a message directed at you and me.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, in a huge put down. Have you seen the alternative? The one that says Jesus saves us.
I shared that on Facebook the same.
Yeah.
I love that. That's what we should have had.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Of course, I also like the Babylon Bee one where Satan gets us. That was
I haven't seen that one.
I haven't seen that one.
Okay, I gotta find that one.
I guess the other thing is that it goes off the whole, I guess, interpretation of the Bible in the last 150 years or so. So when Jesus washes the disciples' feet, this is for the people in his church, his disciples. And he says, "You do this like me, show your love. I give you a new commandment: love one another as I love."
Serve each other.
which is different than love your neighbor as yourself, right?
Yes.
Right.
Love one another, because only Jesus' disciples are to love one another as Christ has loved us. And then I'm supposed to love my neighbor as myself. And then it kind of, which connects to the whole, how the sheep and the goats is all interpreted as well. Because there, at least to these my brothers, traditionally was, well, me, the clergy. we're at least, which goes along very well when Jesus says, he who hears you hears me, what they do to you, they've done to me. And we've really, the church has bought on, even, the Lutheran church, Missouri Synod pastors, under this whole progressive thing, interpretation of those passages over the last 100 years or so. And we're just kind of getting back to those, there's plenty of other passages in the Bible and things that say, hey, go help the poor, the needy, the sick, love your enemy, right? I mean, that's all there. And it has kind of really missed the boat. Of course, I think they were trying to get a jab at, Christians there for the most part.
Yeah. And
you're right.
It does say, I think in the description of the ad on their website, it says Jesus washed the feet of his friends and enemies. So it's almost painting as though we Christians should be that these people, we think of these people as our enemies, and they're not our enemies.
No.
And like you said, David, it's not hating the person who's the sinner. You can hate the sin and love the person who's trapped in that sin. And that's what we're called to do. But this is making it out like if you oppose that sin, then somehow you're hateful. And that just, the more I watched it, the more it just gnawed at me.
Yeah.
So by that logic, Jesus was quite hateful, and I'm not sure I'm going to buy that.
No. Yes, exactly.
Honestly, I don't read it. I didn't read that much into the ads when they first saw it, but just from my perspective, I was like, so to the non-Christians, this is just telling them to wash random people's feet out on the street. And the ads, all of the he gets us ads already feel off.
Yeah.
Your explanation made perfect sense of like how it wasn't right. It's just I couldn't quite put my finger on it. I was just like, why on earth would you just put washing feet? Because they don't get the reference to the Bible because they haven't read it.
Right.
It's the whole point of the ad.
He did this thing once with his disciples, so you should do it with everybody. Yeah.
I was like, who just has a bucket out on the street with water filled in it?
It's just, and the thing that jumps out with each of those panels as you pass from one to the next is who exactly is doing the washing and who are being washed. And it's always white, conservative, mostly males, and you're washing the feet of sinners. But it's not, Jesus would have said, okay, go and sin no more. We don't get any of that. We get don't hate. And that just, it's like there's so much, you spent $10 million on this ad. And it's very subtle. And I even had, and my reaction was like yours at first. I was kind of like, that's kind of weak. And the more I watched it again, and I was like, okay, there's more to this. And it's subtle for a purpose. It's to make people think that this is okay. I'm okay with that message. But you got to actually think about the message.
Yeah, and
that's kind of hidden.
And you know what? In that regard, maybe it's not all bad because it did get us all thinking about it. It did get us all discussing it and examining ourselves.
I'm sure
and
that
saying, you know what?
Plan.
No, it wasn't. But in that regard, we can take what I actually think was genuinely evil, and find something good about it. In that it caused us to better self-examine and examine what it is we're doing and what it is we believe. And in that regard, maybe not bad. I don't know.
That's a good point. I think that.
I think the whole thing is a waste of time. Well, the whole thing is a waste of time. the Super Bowl and the
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl. I'm done with all that stuff. Ever since Kaepernick or whatever his name was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to waste my time watching. And then the ads used to be fun. The ads they
Oh,
used
the
to have. They used to
Budweiser
be
ads
fun.
were the best.
Yeah, but they haven't done though. They don't do it. So why watch?
Who
Why waste your
remembers the
time?
Budweiser frogs?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Those were
Budweiser.
awesome. Yes, those were fantastic. And you used to be able to go after, if you didn't see the Super Bowl, you went and tried to find the ads.
Oh,
the
yeah,
ads
especially
were
the
great.
Clydesdale ads.
Yeah. And now they're preachy. And they're not fun anymore. And the football the football is not fun anymore.
The left is not fun. Left doesn't want anyone to have fun. They're the Puritans.
It's
They're Puritans.
It's funny how things have twisted. They're now the
because their God has to be obeyed, and
you don't offend anybody. You got to be milk toast.
Yeah.
Which is fun. Hey, that reminds me. Speaking of woke stuff, I posted a funny on Facebook earlier because I ran across this, where Google's new AI thing will not create pictures of white people.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Okay, now I got to go try it.
Like,
So
make Germans, and they're all like these brown people on the bottom of the thing.
Yes,
The
show
funny
me.
thing is that's still racist.
I know. Show me. Create a picture of a man and a man and wife or man and woman from 1820s Germany, and it's an Asian woman and a black guy.
Yeah, not too much chance of that.
Or, I mean, they even pushed it and said, "Why didn't you show me any white people in these pictures?" And they said, "Oh, we're sorry, we didn't present any Caucasian people in these pictures. Here's a picture of a Caucasian person, and it's still black."
Show me a peach-colored person.
It's so strange. And if you ask specifically for white, it will tell you, no, I can't do that because that would be discriminatory. We don't want to create any images that are divisive or whatever. But if you ask the exact same question and replace black with white, you'll get pictures. But if you say, I want a picture of a white person, it'll scold you for that.
Well, that's not AI, that's programming.
Exactly. Now, my joke response to that was, well, if Skynet can't figure out what white people look like, then maybe the Terminators won't kill us when they come.
They won't be able to see us.
They won't know who we are. But that should show you just how devious AI can be, because it's only going to be whatever you put in, whatever garbage you program, garbage in, garbage out. Right. So
that's what people have been saying about computers for years. Computers are so smart. Computers aren't smart at all. They're only smart as the person who wrote the code.
Yep. You bake the
information they steal.
Yep. You bake that craziness into the AI and you're going to get the worst. I mean, somebody said, show me a picture of a public speaker from Germany in 1939 making a passionate speech. And you got two pictures that vaguely looked like Adolf Hitler and the rest were black. What? It's just how crazy our society has become. All right, I do want to finish with I mentioned this earlier. I do want to finish with Satan Gets Us, because this is too funny. Let's share this. All right, here we go.
I need to see this.
Yeah.
I love the embers.
Yeah.
Babylon B always comes up with interesting stuff.
They are the best.
Perfect.
That's amazing.
All right, stop. Stop, Satan. Be gone.
Be gone.
All right. Well, this has been fun. We're coming up. We're a little past our time. I want to thank everybody for hanging out, and I appreciate you putting up with the delays in January and all of that craziness. And really appreciate your continued support for the show. And I'm looking forward to hanging out with you again next month and hearing what craziness we all get up to. Hopefully hopefully we'll have, I know we won't have a story to top Steve's, but maybe someone can try.
I might have to go gun shopping and see if I can find something.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you guys. I appreciate all of you. Have a great evening and a great rest of your month, and we'll see you in March.
All right. Take care.
See y'all later, folks.
Thanks, Lloyd.
Bye. Thanks. Have a good night.
For show notes, be sure to visit our website at www.armedlutheran.us. Check out the Facebook page, The Armed Lutheran, or join our Facebook group, Fans of Armed Lutheran Radio. If you like what you hear, please leave us a comment on our feedback page at armedlutheran.us/feedback or a review on iTunes and let us know what you think. Thank you for listening to Armed Lutheran Radio, a member of the Self-Defense Radio Network.